Family, greetings, and I am here today. We have the pleasure, Guyana Tapestry has the pleasure of meeting with yet another Guyanese in the community here in New York City, future councilwoman Felicia Singh. She is running for New York City Council District 32, and Guyana Tapestry has the opportunity to catch up with her. We are actually out in the community here in Ozone Park, and Felicia is knocking on doors, introducing herself to voters, to constituents in the community, and sharing her platform and concerns for the issues. Team Felicia Singh for New York City Council District 32 is definitely making hay while the sun shines, but also when it rains. In a field of about 10 contenders, Singh, the only candidate of Guyanese heritage, is leaving no stone unturned in getting the word out. She's spending time canvassing the streets of the communities comprising New York City's 32nd district, where she hopes to be the number one choice on June 22nd when New York holds its primary election. Just days before early voting begins on June 12th, Guyana Tapestry spent part of the day last Saturday knocking on doors with Felicia. She introduced herself to voters, she listened to their concerns, and explained her vision and approach for addressing some of the intersections of some of the biggest challenges that faces the district. Felicia took a break from canvassing the neighborhood to chat with Guyana Tapestry briefly about her why.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hi, I'm Felicia Singh. I am a teacher and candidate running for New York City Council in District 32. And District 32 encompasses South Queens, neighborhoods of South Queens. That's Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park, Woodhaven, Howard Beach, Broad Channel, all the way to Breezy Point in the Rockaways. So not only are we the most southern part of Queens, but we're one of the biggest districts in landmass in this entire city council community. And so really, I'm looking to represent my community. My community raised me. When I was 12 years old, my sister was diagnosed with cancer. She was 8.
Sorry about that.
And what ended up happening was we had a really difficult time maintaining our bills at home. So our family fundraised money so that we could pay bills and maintain our home. And really, when I say my family raised me, they kept me here. They really helped me stay rooted in this community. And so my service back to this district, back to my neighborhoods, is literally to serve my community the same way they gave to me. You know? And so as a teacher, my parents taught me.
You're an educator.
Yeah, I'm an educator. Yes. And my parents taught me, education is power. Knowledge is power. Yes. And you have to use it to do good. So what are you going to do in your community when you know something? What do you do when you learn something new? You get excited, you share about it.
Share it.
Yes, exactly. And you learn and you grow with other people. So being a teacher really taught me the foundation and the importance of education. It really taught me the needs and the gaps of information our communities have when it comes to learning and sharing. And it really makes me a strong candidate because City Council, we need more teachers. We need more people who understand how multifaceted education is to all other issues in our city. Education is the key to housing justice. It's the key to economic justice. It's the key to our resilience plan. So when I talk about being a teacher, I don't just talk about having taught. I'm talking about continuing to learn and serve from community.
Awesome. And I know that education, I had an opportunity to read a little bit about your biography, and I know that education is a centerpiece of your campaign and your platform.
Right.
I also know that you come from a Guyanese background, you have immigrant heritage, and the other thing is representing, as you describe it, the working class population here in the community. You've identified that there is such a large group of immigrant working class members in your community, but there's such a lack of representation.
Yes.
Would you speak to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to give you a little bit of background, I've always talked about being a daughter of a taxi driver and being a daughter of a school bus matron. My mom, who's Guyanese, she's from Guyana, and my dad's from Punjab.
So
actually.
which part of Guyana?
She's
your
from
family's
Berbice.
Okay, oh,
Yes,
Berbicians. All
yes.
right.
She's from Berbice, and my dad is from Punjab, India. So
Okay.
I've got both. I've got an intercultural history and an interfaith history as well, because my mom is Muslim and Guyanese, and my dad is Sikh and Punjabi. And so I grew up in an interfaith and intercultural
Such a cultural
home.
mix.
Right, and we need to get used to those cultural mixes. The more our working class and our communities of color grow in a really powerful way, the more we're going to see intersection between races and cultures and religions.
Felicia shared that her advocacy on issues of economic inequality and representation stems from her experiences in her community, but also from her understanding of the community's decision-making hierarchy as it relates to resource allocation. For Felicia, that meant civic engagement and challenging the status quo. Though not without challenge and obstacle, Felicia and her team of young volunteers plod on, one door at a time, one voter at a time. They're waving the banner for civic engagement at the grassroots level.
How do you see these issues affecting the constituents in the community, and how do you think you can bring a difference in the perspective about how these issues are handled?
Right. So I want to definitely go back to the working class conversation.
Sure.
Working class people are the backbone of New York City. We are the people who drive people around, we clean people's homes, we watch their children, we drive people to work, we teach them, we fix their homes, we do construction, we do so many things,
Keep the lights on.
we keep the lights on in the city, and we are missing from legislation from our city as well. So we are kept working class because our legislative body doesn't think about our needs. Look at how much we had to fight during this pandemic for PPE, for testing and tracing, for vaccinations, to make sure that we were protected in itself. You know? So
what you would think is basic.
Right, what you think would be a basic need that would be filled, we're missing. So we have people who are making legislation on our behalf, but they're missing the perspective of what we're facing.
Understood.
And what we're facing is intersectional. Because when we improve transportation and we make it accessible, we make it express, we make it sustainable, that positively impacts our working class communities. We can get to work faster. We can come home and spend time with our families. When we improve our education system by fully funding our public schools and giving each of our schools in this district equitable funding for resources that we need, then our parents have more choices. Our kids have a more spheric learning experience. You know, we have after school programs, we'll have services for adults, we'll have services for our children, you know, and youth employment, that's also really important. So these are all issues. When I think about my policy platforms, I think about how are they intersectional to people and how does this help benefit the few? Because the few are actually the many.
It's amazing. And so I would like you to share, I know you made a list of some of the communities that comprise New York City Council District 32. So I want to make a pitch. If you're Guyanese, if you're Caribbean, it doesn't matter what your color, stripe, or persuasion, Felicia Singh is running for New York City Council District 32. Representation matters. Representation counts. And by voting her onto the city council seat, you can rest assured that someone who is affected by similar issues in your community will be looking out and advocating for you in spaces where you can't advocate yourself.
Right.
And
not only that, I think this is a really monumentous time for our Caribbean communities, wherever you fall within the diaspora, to get up and claim your power. Yes, you're voting me in. That's so exciting. That's so amazing. That's historical.
Yes.
That's impactful. But I also want you to understand that legislators serve you.
Right.
You have the power at the end of the day to elect someone or not.
Yes.
I can't exist in your world, in the realm of New York City, making legislations for you if you do not decide to vote.
Right.
I can't. That's why you have more power than me.
Engage.
You need to engage. We need to engage together. We need to build power together because I've seen how our community can organize. I mean, today we were at
Yes.
the street naming of Little
co-naming,
Guyana,
yeah, in Queens, yeah.
and that is amazing and great. And we can demand for so much more. Why don't we? It's because we think other people know the law better than us. We know the law because we've navigated the system, and the system doesn't work. And that's why we're the ones to make decisions for ourselves. That's why you need to stay engaged. You need to know who your representatives are.
Yes.
You need to know who's been deciding how much money your community has or doesn't have.
Right.
Who's been deciding how your child learns or if your child does.
At all.
These are decisions made for you.
Yes.
Everything about what we have and what we don't have is political. Every single thing.
Yes.
The things at your grocery store that you get to buy, the fresh food, that's a political decision.
Yes.
Whether or not your bus comes on time, that's a political decision.
Absolutely.
Someone else made for you. So it's time we stand up as a Caribbean community. We are more than our street namings. We are
Yes.
more than our curry competitions.
Yes.
We are so much more than that.
Yes.
And we have the power to do that
We do.
every
and,
day.
And so what I would like you to do, Felicia, is please tell the folks who will see this
Yes.
where they can find you, your information, where they can make donations to support your campaign, because campaigns run with money, where they can come and vote, learn about the new voting system that is now in New York.
Yes.
Is it first choice?
Ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice voting, right? There's a new system which voters need to be educated about. And where they can just tell them about the campaign, your social media platforms.
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
So you can volunteer and participate. You can read about our new election system. You can even find COVID resources at Felicia2021.com. That's where you'll see my social media. That's where you'll see to donate. That's where you'll see to sign up for a newsletter. That's where you'll see my email to email me, and I'll directly email you back if you want a hello or to even just volunteer. You know, our election is June 22nd. Early voting starts June 12th in New York City as a whole.
Yes.
So if you live in New York City and you don't live in our district, but you will have a primary if you're a Democrat. You will definitely have a primary. So you want to look at who you're going to be voting for, research them, Google them. But again, Felicia2021.com. The biggest way you can help me today is by volunteering.
Awesome.
So please lend me some of your time.
Yes.
I promise it'll be worth it.
We're out here today. It's Saturday, the weekend, Memorial Weekend. It's raining in New York City, and we are out here. It's probably noisy in the background you hear. You know why? Because we are in the streets. Felicia Singh is out here knocking on doors, telling voters in the community the importance of civic engagement, political engagement, getting involved at the very local government, the municipal government level, understanding who are the decision makers in your community and who are making the decisions for you, the things that affect your lives on a daily basis, our lives. So you need to find the campaign, Felicia Singh, New York City Council, District 32. Representation counts. Please, Felicia, as we pan out so that you can get back to your work, I don't mean to take up all of your Saturday,
It's all good.
but for the young girl, the young guy, Guyanese in the diaspora, and not just Guyanese diaspora, but young boys and girls dreaming in general, lessons learned that you would like to pass on to see more engagement like this. Please share.
Absolutely. Ooh, that's such a good. That question gives me chills. You know, stand so firm in who you are. That takes so much courage. It really does.
Yes.
It really does. Stand firm in who you are. Do not back down. You are not the status quo.
Right.
You are not mediocre. You are excellent. And so stand in your excellence every single day.
Yes.
not let anyone tell you differently. Because the 1 minute you allow someone to do that from you, they take something from you. They take your individuality.
The power.
They take your power. And you are so powerful already. So remember that, hold on to that, and lead with courage every single day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Felicia.
Thank you.
So Felicia has taken time off of her schedule to talk with Guyana Tapestry, to share. She hasn't shared much of her story, but more of her campaign, more of her why, her laser focus on ensuring that the community reflects the values that she thinks her community deserves. Is that right? Did I say that good?
That's so right. You said that so well.
So we are grateful. We're grateful, Guyana Tapestry. Thank you for joining again. We will continue to hit these streets. I'm going to let Felicia get back to it, and I'm walking around with her,
Yes.
saying hello to voters. But we will continue to bring you Guyanese like this, doing amazing things in the community.
Singh, the daughter of Guyanese and Indian immigrants herself, sees representation as key to ensuring economic and social equality. She challenges us all to get involved in the improvement of our communities. A message especially pertinent in a district where the immigrant community has contributed immeasurably to the economic, cultural, and political fabric. Immigrant families work hard, sometimes making impossible sacrifices. We build homes, establish and own businesses, lead religious institutions and community organizations. We staff and patronize local businesses, maintain traditions, and of course, ensure rich and vibrant culture thrives. Should Felicia win her run for city council, she would be the first woman of Guyanese and South Asian heritage to do so. Let's make history, shall we? And now for a word on civic engagement. Democracy is not simply a license to indulge individual whims and proclivities. It is also holding oneself accountable to some reasonable degree for the conditions of peace and chaos that impact the lives of those who inhabit one's beloved extended community. Aberjani, splendid literarium, a treasury of stories, aphorisms, poems, and essays. Thank you for linking and sharing Guyana Tapestry, bringing you stories of Guyanese positively impacting their communities. Subscribe, like, and share the channel Guyana Tapestry with other Guyanese. But most importantly, show some love. Until next time, GT, one love.
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Like, subscribe, continue to look at Guyana Tapestry. We're popping up in more places with more Guyanese. Awesome.
Go harder. Go harder. We go up on the rough side. Never living on no high rise. Every day man work so hard to survive. I say money can't buy life. Them say you never get a taste of the high life. You never get a hit in